What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And in this video here, what I want to share with you is how to promote your clothing brand in the very beginning. I know that a lot of you are in your first couple years and you're trying to build a foundation of customers for your brand. I want to talk to you about the best ways that I recommend doing this right now in 2021. Here it is. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If designs are something that you suck at, then I really recommend that you give them a shot. You post a project on Design Crowd, amazing designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. These are some of the best-selling designs on my website, and I got the designs made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you where you can save up to $100 or simply use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. Okay, so straight up, the best way that I recommend you go about marketing and promoting your clothing brand in 2021, if you're in your very beginning phases, is to utilize unpaid social media marketing. And what I mean by this is that it can feel right now like the only way that you can go about truly marketing your brand is through using things like Facebook ads. But in the very beginning, if you're trying to learn really quickly about how your brand's performing and you're really trying to get a grip on exactly, how you should change your brand, if people are responding to it well, and you're trying to build up your first base of customers, this is the best way that I recommend doing it. And I truly believe that it's probably even better than spending money on things like Facebook ads at the very beginning. And so I want to break down exactly what this would look like if you're just starting up your brand and you're trying to get your first customers. And, this might be a little bit sloppy the way that I'm telling you here, but I just want to give it to you sort of off the cuff and explain to you exactly what I'd do if I were starting over from scratch to really learn about my brand quickly and market it and get my first customers. So basically, let's say you just started this past year, you're not really getting many sales for your brand. What I recommend that you do is you spend a lot of time practicing staging your brand on Instagram and TikTok, because those two platforms are really the biggest right now in terms of their effectiveness at marketing a brand online, right? Instagram's still relevant. TikTok's this new crazy thing that has wild potential on it. And you want to really focus your efforts on staging your brand on these apps in a way that comes across to people that you're trying to market to, where the perception is a really, really powerful and good one. I don't think that a lot of brands in the beginning phases really spend enough time working on the little details of their accounts, the little details of the way that they're posting, the little details of the way that they're adding to their stories and the content that they're creating, so that it's actually creating a consistent, cohesive brand. I think that instead what a lot of brands are doing is they're posting the same stuff on social media again and again. A lot of these brands don't have the consistency that they need, and that's what a brand is at the end of the day. It's consistency around a given concept. So for my brand, it's rural Canada. I represent rural Canada. So all of the content is consistent around rural Canada, and that's what creates the brand. Because let's say I was posting rural Canada stuff, and then I went one day and I started posting urban stuff, where it was like me in the city or people in the city taking pictures beside buildings. There'd be no consistency there. So consistency is what's going to create your brand. And you need to really practice this on social media, on things like Instagram and TikTok, before people are really going to have that feeling when they come across your Instagram or your TikTok account and say, holy crap, this is something specific. This is something for me. And they seem to know exactly who you are. That's really what's going to happen when you're consistent on a specific concept, is it's going to create this perception like the brand knows who they are. And they're true to themselves, and they're not trying to get outside of that. They're sticking to who they are. And that creates a really trustworthy perception. It also creates a brand that you can understand really easily. So that's one of the main things that I recommend that you do from the beginning to work on your promotion skills and your marketing, is just work on being consistent on Instagram, on TikTok. And if there's a new social media platform that comes out in the future called Flip-Flop, you can practice on that, and you'll have the skills from TikTok and from Instagram to apply to your Flip-Flop account. All right. Now, on top of that, you can do things like look for your target audience on Instagram and on TikTok and directly engage with them. So on Instagram, for example, my clothing brand represents rural Canada. So I'm going to be looking for people on Instagram that are following other accounts that are similar to rural Canada. They're going to be following hashtags or posting with hashtags that are rural Canada related. Maybe they're posting with hashtags that say Northern Ontario on it, which is basically a rural area in Canada. If I go to that hashtag on Instagram, I'm very likely to find people who are my target audience. So there they are, right? That's them. They're there. You know where they are. They're on Instagram using these hashtags that are related to your clothing brand's concept, because those are the people that you're trying to sell your clothing to. There's no point in me going out and trying to find people who are into something completely different than what my brand represents, because I'm not going to be able to sell to them and they're never going to be interested in buying my clothing brand. Nor do I care that they are not, or do I need them to be, right? That's cool. They're into their own things and that's beautiful, but they don't need to buy my stuff. So who am I looking for? People who are perfect for my clothing brand. And I can do that by going into the hashtags on Instagram and looking up hashtags that I think people who are in rural Canada would be using, like Northern Ontario, like things like out for a rip is a saying here in Canada, that if people are using that, they're likely a part of the subculture that I'm trying to sell to. And then what do? You engage with them. You like their posts. You comment on their posts. You comment genuine things. Hey man, I love this fishing trip that you're on. I love this fish that you caught. Nice catch. If they caught a nice fish, right? Beautiful lake. If they just took a picture of their lake, we love it. You know, you can always message them and say, hey, we just started up a clothing brand and, you know, we're just trying to get the word out. Here's a 10% off coupon code if you're interested. If not, no worries. Be sure to mention something like that, right? Like if you're not interested, don't worry about it. It's all good. We just thought we'd reach out. Thanks. People respond really well to that when there's no pressure. When there's no pressure to buy, if they come to your brand and you've been practicing staging it, like I mentioned, you know, at the beginning of this video, and your brand looks really consistent and it's perfect for the person that you've just engaged with, there's that connection there. They're going to find your website link. They're going to check out your website. They're going to be interested. You just invested your own time into engaging with them without any agenda, without any pressure on them to buy. If they don't buy, that is completely cool. You need to be in this abundance mindset where even if one person doesn't buy, that's cool. You're still friends. You still like them. They're still cool people just because they didn't decide to buy. You can move on and find somebody else who is willing to buy. And it's this process of just getting out there and putting your brand forward by investing your own time. This will cost no money at the beginning, zero on advertising. And if your brand is staged right on Instagram, if it's staged right on TikTok, and you're working it hard enough on Instagram and you're spending enough time and you're putting in the efforts and you're working on this and you're tweaking it, if you don't get a good response at the beginning and people just aren't giving it to you and they're just not interested and you're not getting any sales, well, that's an indicator that you need to work on the foundation of your clothing brand. You need to work on the way that you're staging your brand on Instagram. Maybe there's something wrong on your website. Maybe your brand's not consistent enough. Then you try again. If it works, then you know that you're doing something right. And you can even ask them, hey, what did you like about my brand? And then you can strengthen that and get it even better. And this is the reason why this video is so off the cuff right now and not a systematic way, is because in the beginning, it's really scrappy. It's like some days people are going to be responsive, some days people aren't. And I really wanted to just give you my whole mentality around this and how it worked for me in the beginning. Because when I first started up, I was able to have like a $50,000, $60,000 a year in revenue without spending any money on Facebook ads. It was completely by me just working Instagram. And that's also how I built up my following at first. I got to about 10,000 followers for my clothing brand just by simply engaging with people, liking, commenting, following, messaging, day in, day out. You do that for 6 months, you do that for a year, you'll be shocked by the results that you get if you're willing to work on your brand, if you're willing to make those necessary changes, and if you're open enough to make those changes to get your brand to the point where it's offering real value to your audience. Even if you like your brand the way that it is right now, if people aren't responding well to it, then that's an indicator that you need to change. You need to make changes somewhere. And so these are just really important mindsets to take on. And I think that this will really help you in the first year, the first 2 years. If you don't have a lot of money to spend on Facebook ads, if you don't want to waste money on Facebook ads or burn some money trying to figure this out, and you're just trying to figure out where your brand's at and how your brand's resonating with people, How are people vibing with it? Are they digging it? Are people buying it, a lot of the time just because you're reaching out and because you're engaging with them? If that's happening, then that's a really good sign that you're onto something, and that when you put out your Facebook ads, you can use the same type of messaging. You can use the same type of content that you're posting inside of your Instagram account that's converting without you having to spend any money. And now you can apply that to your Facebook ads and scaling that up. And that's really what it looks like. And it doesn't have to take tons of time if you're willing to invest a lot of time into it. You can do this really quickly if you're just focused on it. You can do this fast. You can really build up a solid following in 6 months or a year by doing this. You can learn about how your brand's doing, and all of this is going to be massive improvement for you moving forward. On top of this, back in 2016, when I first started, there was no such thing as TikTok, or people weren't really on it. And so you could get some posts to get into the hundreds of thousands of views on Instagram. We had some of our posts go pretty viral. And a lot of those were just based on them being really good content and, just resonating with people, where it would get into the explore page. That same opportunity exists on TikTok. So while you're engaging with people on Instagram and you're building up your following and you're promoting yourself and you're spending your time in doing that, you can also be working on creating really clever, creative content that's either funny, shocking, passionate, that captures people's attention, that's related to your clothing brand for TikTok. And there's this possibility of building up a huge following on TikTok as well if you're creating quality content consistently there. And those two forces combined together are really going to help you promote your clothing brand in the very beginning. I've mentioned these guys before, on this channel, but if you haven't, check out Whole Strength, HOL Strength on TikTok. It's a guy who's combined Christianity with fitness, okay? And I'm obviously not really a part of his brand concept, but just his creativity and his ability to create content that is killer on TikTok is really admirable, and I really recommend that you check it out just to get inspired by his ideas and the way that he's doing things, because he's doing a really, really good job, and I really recommend that you check it out. I hope this video gave you some confidence in terms of a direction that you can move in to really start promoting your brand right now and start to gain some feedback, get some data for your brand and move things forward so that it's not just stagnant, sitting around, going nowhere. So if you got a lot of value out of it, please hit the like button for me. It really helps me get these videos out there, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass, and you can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.